Picture this. It's 1882 in Upper New York, where only old money and even older bloodlines reluctantly live with the nouveau riche, who, although may have more money, is not wanted in their very close and closed circle of old New York. But times are changing, and new money, in this case, the Russells, have arrived big, bold, and in color. They've got more money, a bigger, grander mansion, and a lot of power. The Russells have built their home directly across the street from Agnes Van Ryn, one of the oldest bloodlines in this part of town, and her sister Ada. She's not quite as uptight, but she's comfortable in upper society. But Agnes is not about to let these Russells run amok. But Bertha Russell will not be deterred nor denied. Her husband George is one of the wealthiest men in not just New York, but America. But be sure that Bertha will do everything she needs to ensure that her family gains their rightful seat at New York's table. And did I mention Mrs. Astor, one of the most powerful women in New York? And Mrs. Astor knows that if Bertha gets in, she's out. And she don't want that, does she? So, who will be successful? New money or old New York society? Let's see what unfolds today. In upper society on the Gilded Age. In upper society on the Gilded Age. Listen, I don't know. I'm just going to throw this up here because everything I tried to do did not work out. I even had to go into a different studio because I uploaded all my pictures to the wrong studio. I thought I had put them in the new studio. And they were in the old, because what I thought should have happened over there didn't happen. And then somehow my stuff got loaded over here to what's called the old studio that I use daily. And you're only allowed so many pictures. So, and this show would take a lot to review, a lot more organization, if you will, because I had almost 100 pictures, and you're only allowed 100 images, and I already have stuff downloaded. So it's going to take some doing, but I wanted to go on and do it, push this out here and see how it does, if there's any interest for it, and just leave it here and see what happens, okay? Well, anyway, if you missed the intro, go back and watch it so you get the background on what's going on the Gilded Age and up here in upper New York, okay? In high society. High society. Well, here's the thing. The episode opens with what is many different crates, because they didn't have boxes and stuff like that. Now you had something, they had to put it in a crate, child. So they had many large crates with enormous art pieces and installations being transported to the old money neighborhood of this now very massive mansion directly across the street from the old money Van Ryns. And they don't like it. They think it's too much. They think the new money doing too much, and they don't like it. Okay. So the lady of the house is peeking from behind the curtain at all the goings on across the streets. And Agnes, this is her name, Agnes Van Ryn, she's irritated with all that noise and scaffolding that has been put up. But at least they're taking it down. Hey, Linda, but at least they're taking it down, right? The house is large. I mean, it's a big old house. It's a big old house. It's palatial. It's expansive. It's a house. That house is housing. It looked like a bank. It looked like a great big corporate building. But anyway, she's agitated with all the goings on over there across the street at this big house. She just jealous. She just jealous because you ain't got this kind of money, girl. Stop playing. Talking about old money, new money. You just jealous, girl. But anyway, she's looking at all this stuff going on over there. And it's right directly across the street from her. Oh, she's just tired. Just tired. Meanwhile, the estranged niece of Agnes and Ada, the two women who live over here, on the high society side of the page. Well, Linda, I'm really just putting this up to leave it up here and see if anybody catches on and watches it. So I just decided to come on and do it because this is really an undertaking to review this show. So, but I'm gonna do what I can with it today and see what happens. Okay. Anyway, meanwhile, across the street, the estranged niece of Agnes and Ada, whom they have not ever even met, is receiving news that her recently deceased father, this girl right here, Marion, her recently deceased father, has left her with nothing. And they were living in a very nice home, a very nice home, honey. And yeah, I decided to start from the beginning. They're living in a very nice home, a very nice home. But he done lost it all on wine and women because that's what her daddy liked. So anyway, Ada and them was sitting there talking about it, and they like, if we know her daddy, he done lost everything, done left her penniless, and she said, I wouldn't leave that. She said, I wouldn't want my brother, that brother of mine, caring for a dog in a ditch. Hey, D. Herford. And she said, I wouldn't want that brother of mine caring. He couldn't provide for a dog in a ditch. That was cold. Let me tell you something, they do some nice reads, even though it was 18, what did I say, 1824, 1864? No, 24. No, wait, 1884. So even though it was 18, no, 82, even though it was 1882, baby, they gave us some old nasty reads. But in proper English, of course. All right, so anyway, this girl was learning that her dad had blown away everything and she was left with approximately $20. How's she gonna pay? I mean, what's she gonna? Yeah, so she did the right thing. She got on the train and hightailed it to her auntie's house that she ain't never met before. Um, we're also finding out that Ada, the more genteel sister, is the one who actually sent for her. Mhm. But Agnes is the older sister, and she's married a man who was not easy to get along with. I'm sorry, you guys. I need to grab this call right quick. I'll be right back. Hold on for me. Wait, y'all. That was my cousin talking about. I didn't know you was watching the Gilded Age. I just saw your video pop up. I'm like, I'm live now. He said, "What you live now?" He said, "Let me get off this phone." But all right, cuz. All right. So anyway, um, where was I at? Okay, so Agnes though is the one who had to marry for money in order to solidify the future for her and her sister, so that they would be financially set after their brother had pished away all of their money when their when their parents passed away. So she did what she had to do in order for them to survive. But now across the street, in this very opulent mansion, not mansion, but mansion, honey, they have outdone the Duprees, honey. They have mansioned them out. I don't know. I think you can put the Dupree's whole house in their vestibule. If is this a vestibule? I don't know what you call it. What is this size? Because it is humongous. But anyway, Bertha is there talking to her husband. She on her lap. I like them. They such a cute little couple, right? And she's busy telling the work. When she got in, she was busy telling the workers, "Do this, don't do that. Put this over here. We got to do that," because they're moving in finally into their home. That's taken all this time to build. I think 3 years. But with all this marble she done had brought over from all over the world, I can understand the reason why. Okay. And cause this is episode one, season one. So you said that's where you started. That's where we at. Okay. But anyway, now while everybody else seems to think that their taste is opulent, I think it is opulent, but tasteful. Very tasteful. They, like I said, they just jealous. But still don't be jealous. You don't have as much as them, but okay. You do have the pedigree though, right? That's what you said is the most important thing. So anyway, she and her husband George are in what I think is his cigar room or something like that, or his office at home, his home office. And they're talking to each other, and they're both very ambitious. Nothing is going to get in the way. Hey, Marcel, nothing's going to. Now I got two cousins on here. Hey, okay, so nothing is going to get in the way of these Russells, honey. These Russells ain't, they're not playing. They did not come to New York to play. They came to slay all day. Okay, and twice on the weekend. Okay. But anyway, they previously lived on 30th Street, and then while she was in there talking to her husband and she was running down people's names, she was like, I done sent cards to the Vanderbilts, the Schermerhorns, the Rutherfords. I wonder if it's okay, y'all would know these Rutherfords. But anyway, the Joneses, and of course, Mrs. Astor. Mrs. Astor, okay. Because she gonna be the hardest one to get past. Miss Astor is a piece of work, honey. I wish I had got to upload all my pictures, so y'all just going to hang with me. Okay, so previously they were down on 30th Street, which is nice, but it ain't where they are now. And Bertha couldn't wait to get out of there. Bertha is this lady in the picture, Bertha Russell. Bertha could not wait to get up out of there because that was not, I mean, it was nice, but it was nice. So George tells her that the high tone people do not care that they are there, and they don't even know they exist. And Carrie, I said Carrie, but I meant to say Bertha. Bertha says, but they will now. Besides, they can. She says, but he told her. He said, besides that, you can't succeed without Mrs. Astor's approval. And George can't believe that they are bowing down to people who have less than they do. I'm with you on that, George. Y'all got too much money to be bowing and scraping. You got a whole house full of people. How many people work in that house? 50, 60? They do the bowing and the scraping, not you. Okay. Well, anyway, George says that he can't wait for them to take their place in society. And she saw the two sisters on, and she told him, she said, and I seen them two sisters over there spying on me when I came in the house. Girl, we seen her too over there peeking from behind the curtain, trying to act like she don't care when she knows she care. She very much want to know what's over there behind them gates. Huh? Forget the gates we watch. These are the gates that she want to know what's going on over there. Why she act like she don't. Well, George leaves for work and arrives at his very own high rise that has his name carved into the stone. And it was also over these brass gates, very opulent brass gates that was down at two times. In case y'all didn't see it the first time, here it is again, here it is again, I know these people couldn't stand them because this is all based loosely on real life people, right? So anyhow, George is expanding his railroad. And so he calls this man into his office to talk to him about that, right? Is this the picture? No. My pictures are small now, so I can't see them. But okay, if I see it, I will pull it up. Let me see. Keep searching here. Anyway, he calls this man to his office to talk to him about expanding the railroad. And what he's going to need from him is to buy some of them railroad tracks that he already got down. And so the man came in there trying to play games. And he was like, no, I want to buy them now. I want to go and buy them. And so he says, let me make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself because I'm trying to, child, it's like 10 pages of script on this. That's why I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it for y'all the whole time. I don't know, but I'm gonna see how y'all act. Let's see how y'all act. But anyway, he said he's expanding that railroad and he needs, he said, he was talking to somebody else before the man came to the office. That's why I don't see the picture. Okay, so he was saying that I need to expand the railroad, or I need some laws changed so I can do what I need to do. That's what he was telling his, I don't know, I don't think that's his business partner. I think that man worked for him. And he cold-blooded. Y'all gonna find out if you keep watching that man that worked for him. I think he mean it than the Russells. He worse than a bad biting dog, that man is. Now, Marion and the lawyer that was helping her, that had to break the bad news to her that she didn't have a $20 left in the bank. Hey, Miss J, that she didn't have a $20 in the bank. You ain't got a $20. He said, you got $20. But anyway, he done brought her to the railroad station and asked could he write to her. She was like, for what? Because see, anyway, it's gonna come out later what he was up to, but she was like, for what? And we finished. Did we not close our business, which I ain't got no business, and I got $20? He said, no, no, no. I mean, if anything should come up. She was like, oh, okay, well, you can write me for that. Don't be just writing me, just be writing me. You could just write nobody back then, child. She said, don't be just writing me. Have a reason, sir. But he cleaned it up, and he's like, just in case something, we got to clean up somebody lying. So as she waits for the train, a fight breaks out, right? So when this fight break out, her purse gets stolen with her train tickets in it. And there's this well-dressed black woman who was sitting there at the railroad that she was talking to. She's like, did you see my purse? Oh my gosh, she crying again. And so what the girl ends up doing, her name is Peggy, is just buying her a ticket so that she can get on to her destination in New York, because this girl didn't know anybody there. She's trying to get to the only people she got left, and that's her aunties in New York. But she had to sit in the black and the colored part of the train. But she was cool with it. So I liked her right away, just being cool for sitting back there. I mean, she was uncomfortable, but she didn't really look like it. So, we give her a pass. She can come to the picnic. She can. So anyway, they're riding along on the train. And let's see. She's grateful for what Peggy had did for her. The ticket once in New York. I don't know what I meant by that. Okay, so let's go back to the Russell's home. So at the Russell's home, this is down in their basement where this is a small portion, of the kitchens, because the kitchen is kitchening. The kitchen got prep space, it's got other space, it's got space, and then it's got some more space. And we ain't even talked about the way they cook nothing yet. Okay. But they kitchen is kitchening. But anyway, their son was going out for the evening, and let's see, I'm gonna use this picture. So their son George was going. Is his name? His name is Larry. Now I should know that. But anyway, their son was going out for the evening, and at first his mother was like, "Where is you going?" Blah 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 blah. But it turns out that he had been invited to go to a soiree, and that Mrs. Astor's daughter was going to be there. So then Carrie, I want to call that's her real name. So then Bertha is like, wait, what? An Astor? She was like, well, yes, son Harris, scary alone. And make nice with the people while you out there, please and thank you. Okay. Now, when the two ladies arrive at the ferry, let me see. Did I upload that picture? Let's see. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me see. My phone is showing out tonight. Now, it's going to have to wait this time. Okay, so when the ladies arrived to the ferry, so I'll just use this picture again. There was a bad storm I'll use this one. So when here it is, I'm sorry. So when the ladies arrived to the ferry, there was a really bad storm brewing. And so they didn't know if they were going to be able to get across, because you have to take the ferry from where they were to get across to New York. This is before they had all the bridges and stuff. Okay, you could just go. You had to take a ferry. But the weather was bad. I'm gonna tell you something. This looking like Gilligan's Island to me. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the crew, this to the minnow would be lost. I would be getting on that. Now me, I'd have waited till tomorrow. Because y'all don't know I'm scared of storms. I don't play with that. Especially not on the water. But anyway, this girl here ends up telling Peggy, the black girl, that she wants to make sure she gets her money back for the ticket that she gave her. She's like, so you must come around to my aunt's house to collect your money, and please let me know when you do. And she's like, okay, I will. So at dinner, Mr. Russell, who is George, discusses his son coming to work with him. I don't think he know that. But, y'all see they dining area. And this is just the one for the family. Do y'all see how the people dressed up in there, dressed up in whole outfits to match the room? The opulence. And I love it. I do. Okay. But anyway, he's talking about, yeah, I want my son to come work with me at the firm. And the mother was looking at him like, He says, she was like, okay. So Bertha starts discussing getting new friends because, as she said, she don't want her old friend. They no longer serve her purpose and can't go where she going, which is up. Do y'all think that's wrong? Do y'all think that's wrong to get rid of your friends because you moving up in the world and they can't go with you to the deluxe apartment in the sky? Is that wrong? Would y'all do that? Now the rain was heavy, so Marion brought Miss Peggy Scott, the young black woman, with her home instead of leaving her out there in the rain. And once at her aunt, she asked if she can stay the night, and Agnes says, "Bring her in so I can meet her. I won't have a stranger in my home." So that's what she does. She brings her in. They get a chance to meet her. Let me click on that picture. They get a chance to meet her, and they really like her because she's from Brooklyn, even though they don't know yet. You know, her family got a coin too. Okay, her family got a coin too. In fact, I think their house look a lot like this house she in right now. Okay, but you know she playing it down. You know, back then you couldn't let people know you was balling like that, shot calling like that. But she was very refined, very refined. So as they keep talking to her, they find out that she went to a school that for colored children, that their father was a patron of. These are really nice women, though. I have to give it to them that for back then and all that, they was nice. Okay. But anyway, uh, there was a little bonding moment that they shared. And Peggy speaks well. She's refined. She's dressed handsomely and has great penmanship. And back then, that meant something. See, you couldn't jump on the thing and type nothing. So if somebody could write beautifully and she had beautiful penmanship, sidebar. Do our kids today even know what penmanship is or mean or the importance of it? Because I don't think so. Teach your children how to write. Teach your grandchildren how to write. And well. So the ladies talk with their niece, Marion, once she leaves the room. And they want to know, now that your father's left you penniless, because, Agnes is shady as all get out. Agnes is like, now that your father has left you penniless. And Marion said, please don't speak ill of my father. And Agnes said, I'll speak anyway. I wish in my own home. And if I say your daddy is a snagger tooth saber tooth tiger, then that's what he gonna be up in hell. Okay, well tell me what to say up in, and he my brother. I know that had to hurt her feelings, but girl, she was giving it to your daddy. Anyway, but Miriam hit her back with the, you won't talk like that about my daddy. And baby, don't nobody talk to Agnes like that. You don't be talking to Agnes like that, especially up in our own house, girl. Then she gonna sit up here and tell Agnes that she thinks she want to get a job. Baby, when I tell you Ada, the other sister clutched her pearls and literally gasped. She was like, oh my God, a job. And Mary looked around. She was like, okay, maybe I could work for a charity. It was like, yeah, I know that's what you better have been. Because we the Van Rhynes, honey, we don't have Van Rhynes, we don't have no jobs up in here. But you may give to the poor. But girl, don't you come here and try us like that no more. Then she tells her that she needs to get to the dressmaker and get some proper clothing because this ain't gonna cut it with you wearing, and you need to get out of that black. And she's like, but my daddy just died. She was like, don't nobody know your daddy. Don't nobody know nobody with your daddy left. And don't nobody know. And you need some cheerful colors and you need to meet some more people. And you can't meet them in all this black stuff looking like a black crow. You ain't about to do it. Looking like a sad, lonely crow. So you're gonna need some more clothes. And she's like, oh, okay. She said, make sure you get some cheerful colors when you go. Now, Ada tells Agnes that Miriam will need to hang out with some young people, and Agnes agrees with that. But she lays down the law to her. She said, only the old people are to be received in this house, never the new, only the old. And Marion asked, what's the difference? And Agnes told her, the old have been in charge before the revolution and have ruled justifiably until the new people invaded. We, the Brooks, have been in Pennsylvania for 150 years. And my mother came here in 1674. 1674, and now it's 1882. Girl, your mama was just trying to say now. Did you mean your grandmama, your great grandmama? Girl, who you talking about? Who you talking about? But anyway, she said she was a living saint. Do we need to Google the living saints? Good, what that mean? You belong to old New York, and let no one tell you differently. And that was that. Because baby, once Ada said once Agnes said what she said, she meant what she said, okay, and she ain't about to say it no more. Now, down in the Van Rhymes kitchen, though, their servants, is this them? No, this is them. Their servants in this tiny part of the kitchen, because I done told y'all they ain't got the money that the Russells got across the street. And I done told you now that's nice, it's decent. Don't get me wrong. But baby, this ain't got nothing to do with what they got going on behind over there across the street. But they're all down there talking. And the staff of 5 comprises of a butler, a cook, an assistant, like an assistant kitchen person / maid, and a lady's maid, and a footman. And Mrs. Peggy Scott has joined them for tea. The black girl done come downstairs to have tea with these white servants. And you know, back then they was not ready to be sitting there. And then not only that, when somebody joins you downstairs, that you have to, the lowest person on the totem pole down here has to serve the others. So that little girl over here that's sitting over there to the left, she was not happy that she had to serve Miss Peggy Scott a cup of tea, not this colored girl. But the funny thing is that they all quickly kind of turn around, all except one. But they was like, yeah, we tripping. So I like these people over here. I do. I like them. Now upstairs, Peggy runs into Mrs. Armstrong, who is the lady's maid to Agnes. And this chick had the nerve to lock her door like somebody wanted that secondhand stuff she had up in there. Girl, you don't even know Peggy rich. Black Peggy is rich, honey. Colored Peggy got plenty of cheddar. She don't need nothing you got over there. The next morning, Peggy ends up helping Agnes dictate some letters. The lady of the house dictates some letters. And she's very kind to her and impressed with her at the same time. So she asks her, you want to be my maid? No, I'm just teasing. Would you like to work for me? Would you like to be my maid? Your children so clean. Would you like to be my maid? Yeah, I'm wrong, but I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but what y'all gonna do? Okay, let me check out my pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, page 7. So across the street, the family gathers in the drawing room as they open mail and chat, and Bertha has an invitation to some kind of doop-de-doop, which is really a charity. That's the only reason why they're reaching out to it, because they want some money. This is the only time they find new money useful, honey, is when they need some money. Because y'all might be old New York, but y'all lacking in the bank account area, most of you. And Bertha better than me. Bertha better than me. She better than me. She is, girl. You's good. But she was excited to go to the charity event. But in the smaller but old money house decored drawing room, Mrs. Van Ryn tells Marion that she had the letter also. No, she said, and let me tell you something else why I'm thinking about it. Let me tell you this why I'm thinking about it. Let me tell you this. You also carried your own bag through the streets last night and brought it up in here. And next time you leave it, you check it, and I will send the footman to collect it. Don't you ever let them see, because that's work, honey. We don't work. We don't toil. We don't sweat. Our brow don't drop no sweat now, so don't do that no more either. They are so high tone. I wonder if I could deal with that. I don't know. Now, across the street, Bertha, lady's maid Turner, this paint face heifer right here. I hope I uploaded her picture because she gets on my nerve. And when I said pinch face, I mean she just always, got her mouth all tight and just pinch faced. Okay, yeah, her. This one right here, Turner. This chick watches George Russell, the master of the house. She's watching him and then asked him, and he was like, "Are you looking for my wife or something?" And she said, "No, I'm just on my way upstairs." She tried to talk like she all that in a bag of chips because I used to work for the upper crust, the old family, and so she still talks that way. Even though, girl, you just a lady's maid. How much they pay you around there? Couple pences. Well, you working for them, so you probably making good money. But ooh, she gets on my nerve. Anyway, she low key flirting with George. And when she said she was going upstairs, what I know you meant was, I'll be upstairs if you want to come up there too. You low down, Turner. Turner, you slow down. Girl, you taking social climbing to a whole nother level. Haley. This ain't nothing but Haley right here. I'm about to tell y'all now. But anyway, I digress. So anyhow, Mr. Russell just kind of pishes her off and goes upstairs. So one of the other people that work in the house, his personal manservant, walked over to her and he said, "You better tread lightly." And she said, "One can be too careful, though, can't they?" Yeah, okay. You let Bertha mess around and find out. You gonna find out. But Bertha look like she fight. Look at Bertha. Bertha look like she fight. Bertha didn't come from money. Bertha do not come from money, honey. Bertha scraps. So keep on if you want to. You're gonna find out what's gonna happen to us, okay? Now, oh, okay, so I'm finished with that page. Next page. So now in Newport, the vacationing spot for the rich in New York, because you got to have somewhere to vacation on. And these people all have big homes on the waterfront. So they're at Mrs. Fish's house, and I like Miss Fish. Miss Fish is cool. She messy. She like a lot of gossip. She like a lot of games, but I like her because she don't care who old or new. She just likes the tea, so she don't care. She ain't scared of them. She do what she want to do. Okay. So Mrs. Astor's daughter, though, Carrie, is there. And so she goes over and pulls him over to the Russell son to talk because she knows it's gonna be a problem if the parents find out. But girl, you messy, but I'm here for it. Because you bold, honey, you are bold. So then we also get a chance to see Oscar, who is the son of Agnes. Okay, so let me scroll down to that. And he over there trying to talk a little funky too. He was. I liked his outfit though. I did. I most definitely did. So anyway, Peggy ends up going to meet her mother. This is the black girl. Ends up going to meet her mother because Mrs. Agnes had insisted, you got to go see your mama. Because you ain't gonna just be standing up in my house hiding because I can tell you don't want to go home. I don't know what's going on, but you got to meet up with your mama now. So she meets up with her mama. And her mama looking at this place they in like, girl, I cannot believe you brought me up in this ghetto spot. It was a nice spot, but they rich. So, I mean, this ghetto to her. What is we slumming for? Is what she wants to know. Linda says they was casket sharp. Yes, I did just call her Haley. Because she is Haley-ish. She is Haley-ish. She is Annie. So now back at no, wait, she met with her mother, and her mother was like trying to get her to calm down and meet up with her daddy. And she's like, nah, we both stubborn. So he got on my nerve about writing, and plus what else he did, and I ain't got time. And I was like, what do you do, girl? But we later found out what her daddy did. He loves her, but he did too much. Daddy just did too much. Down the line, you'll learn. So anyway, the mother ends up giving us some money. She's like, I don't need any money, Mom. She's like, I am your mother. I am allowed to give you money. So take it. She ain't about to have her child ripping and running these streets, ain't got no money. My daddy was like that too. My daddy be like, do you got some money? I'd be like, look, I got a couple dollars because I done did this, and I'm good till da. My dad be like, baby, please don't do that. Yeah, take this. Just don't do that. I'm like, Dad, I'm good. I got gas, I'm good. He was like, girl, you on my nerve with that foolishness. Okay, so now, Back at Bertha Russell's house, her backstabbing maid, Turner. I'm gonna have to use the same picture because I ran out of putting them up there. That backstabbing heifer, Turner, is helping her get dressed to go to this big charity function, right? And so she's like, "Don't wear the brooch. It's a bit much. It's a bit much." You know what I just realized that if you ever saw the movie Mame with Lucille Ball and Patrick, the little boy, has started dating this girl, and she's like, "Oh, don't touch me. I'm dripping wet." She talks just like her, but back further in time. Same area too. See what I'm saying? So you know that uppityness just must be what they did. But anyway, she's so Miss Bertha leaves and goes to the charity function, and let me see. Oh, so these snobs was talking to her, and they started trying to downplay her house. Baby, I'm tell you what you ain't about to do is downplay Bertha about nothing. And she's like, "Oh yes, that great big house over there. You know, like you ain't seen it going up. I mean, it sit on almost a whole block." That's my favorite movie, D. Herford is Maine. I watch both of them. The one with Rosalind Russell too. But look at him. Uh, why are you trying to act like you ain't seen this great big house that's taking up half a city block, almost like literally? You gonna try to act like you didn't even know who she was? And she's like, "It's me. I'm Bertha Russell." "Oh, so nice to meet you." And finally, you're so brave to have not used the same builder that everybody else did. And Bertha said, "I feel we must not be afraid of new things." Baby, Bertha ready for y'all. Keep on. You gonna find out. Just keep right on. Cause old money or no, you don't disrespect Bertha. Big Bertha, baby, you do not disrespect Big Bertha. Don't do it. Don't think about it. Don't try it. Okay. Now Bertha's daughter is looking at this well-dressed woman across the room, and I liked her. And they better bring her back season 3. I heard they do, but I liked her. And I want to see her come back because I want to see her I want to see her and Bertha unite together and walk all over the old money people. Not too much, but a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. But anyway, the daughter's like, "Who's that well-dressed woman over there?" And no one's talking. She says, "No one's talking to her." And she says, "Ain't nobody gonna talk to her." Ooh. No one wants to know her, they said. But y'all invited her to this charity event, though. See how they work? I wish you would invite me to something and ask me for my money and then want to treat me any old kind of way. Baby, I wish you would. I wouldn't write you a check for 2 cents. Or maybe I'll write you a check for 2 cents and ask you for a penny back change, okay? But anyhow, the rich are good snobs for shade, baby. They really are. They good. They good. But as I always tell you, now my family, you don't want to jump off no signifying with us, baby, because signifying, I told you, is what we do for fun. Okay, this is what we do. You don't want it. Okay, so I wish we would be or something. And somebody, baby, we would tag team you till we was tired. Tap in, cuz. Tap in, sis. Tap in. We will wear you out. But anyway, oh wait, you might hear this. Let me turn that down because that's up loud. I didn't realize that. Okay, so Miriam, when she gets there, she also asks about the same woman across the room because she stands out. And they told her the same thing. "We don't talk to her. We don't talk about her." They said, "Oh, no, 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 no." That ain't what happened. She asked who she was, and then they told Mary, and they said, "That's Mrs. Chamberlain." And then they both looked away real fast, like they was gonna turn to a pillar of salt just for looking at her. I like this lady, Miss Chamberlain. Excuse me, y'all. I'm doing a hiccup. So I hope that they do bring her back this season. I heard that they are. So, so like I said, I'm looking forward to that. So now Bertha finally comes face to face with some of the residents of the house from across the street from her, which is Ada and Marion. Is that this picture here? Might be the back of them. So she finally comes. What you said, Lynn? I can't see the whole thing yet. Let me click on. Let me see. I can't see your comment. I know you said helpless. But anyway, she finally comes face to face with two of her neighbors that are directly across the street from her that like to peek through the curtains. And she says to them, oh, wait a minute. Ugh, I missed that part. But anyway, let me keep going. Now, George Russell is meeting with a man, Mr. Thorborn, who he has offered to buy some of his existing railways. Okay, so let me see. Okay, here's that picture I was looking for earlier. Okay, so he done called this man to the office, honey. Like when George calls somebody to the office, it's like calling somebody to the principal's office. You know what's funny is I have those same windows in my living room with that glass in it like that. That's funny. Okay, I just realized that. Okay, so he pulls him into the meeting and he says, I want to buy some of your existing railroads. And George had already told him earlier and had sent word to him earlier to let him know that this was his final offer. He was like, so let him know before he get here that it's my final offer, because he had been pre-warned. Okay. So the man gonna try to get some more money. Linda says, y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. She right. Let me do it on my other device too, Linda, while I'm talking, because I ain't hit the like button, okay? You know what, in fact, while we in here, just as a reminder about that like button, because just because we talking about a new show,
Hey you! Oh, where's you going? Where's you going? Where you click like? You don't follow me? I don't care. Click like. You don't be scrolling past my stuff. Click the like and the share and stuff right now. Right. Hey you! I love you. Click it.
That's right. Right. Hey you! I love you. Write something down there. All right. So let me get back up into these pictures. Okay. So George pulled this man into his office to tell him what the deal was. Okay. And he told him, wait, Linda, that's too, I'm about to take the comment down because it's bigger than the picture. Okay. So he tells him, he says, so I want to buy your railroad. And I gave you the price. And the man is trying to get some more money. And so George told him, he said, let me tell you something. Now I don't even want your railroad. What I'm going to do now is build tracks right next to yours, because George was trying to connect all the cities, because eventually he wants to build something from one side of America to the other side of America, the train system. So this is the person who was who kicked that off, right? So the man was like, well, what you mean you're going to put railroad down next to mine? He was like, that it would cost you 2-3 times as much to do that than just buy mine. He said, oh, I know that. But now I don't want yours. That's what I'm going to do. He says, but if you do that, you will ruin me. He was like, precisely. Like, you're going to ruin me? He's like, and he is. And he is. And he says, you're a bastard. And George says, and you're a fool. And of the two, I wouldn't want to be the fool. Okay? But George, that was cold. That was cold what you did, baby. That was cold. And then he told the man, he said, and the purpose that this will serve is that it will let other people know not to cross me. And you'll be the example to know that my first offer is not to be ignored, because there won't be a second. And then told him to get out. So now you run tell that. You go run tell the others that when I offered you some money, I decided to put you out of business for not taking my offer. George, that was cold. But what a rich, bold move. I bet old money didn't see that coming. He was sitting over there comfortable. Didn't even realize, didn't even recognize. Now back in Newport, let's jump up here. Let me go back to Newport. Okay. Now back in Newport, the young upper class mix at a small party at Mrs. Fisher's home, and Mrs. Fisher loves to, give these parties and stuff. So I don't know how I pre-said this, but I was saying that I like her anyway, so we can just go past that. Now Peggy is at the Van Rhymes and tells Marion her visit with her mom went pleasant. She's just letting her know how that went. She's like, everything went pleasant. The Russells are dressed and ready for dinner. Their son is out of town. Let me go back to this picture. I have to reuse these same pictures. You guys overlooked this time. Okay, where's that picture of them sitting down to dinner? Sitting on down to dinner. Because I'm about to run out of pictures anyway. 90-some pictures. Child, StreamYard was like, girl, you better get on. We ain't about to upload no 100 pictures. unless you want to delete your other stuff. And I'm like, oh no, that ain't about to happen. Oh, here it is. Okay, so while they was all dressed for dinner, um, and their son was out of town, Bertha tells her husband that she wants to have an at home. Child, what's an at home? Y'all look that up. What's an at home? Is it still in the dictionary? Does it still apply? Somebody Google it. Hey, Google, what's at home? What does it mean to have an at home? She says, so people can come and see the house since they're curious. And George tells her they only want to come. She said all they want is money for their charity. These folks ain't studying us. And she tells him the Vanderbilts have made their way to society. He said, but it took them 5 years. Thank you, Dee. She says, new word for housewarming, okay? And Bertha feels that they can do it the same, but she ain't about to wait no 50 years. She's like, but the Vanderbilts did finally make their way up in society. Now, downstairs at the Van Rhymes, the servants are gossiping about the Russell house across the street, and the footman heard from the Russells' footman that Ada and Marion had come face to face with the Russells, but that Agnes does not know her sister and niece have fraternized with the enemy from across the street. And so Jack, the footman, feels that the lady of the house should just be ready to accept that the Russells are the future. And they looked at him like, boy, you better be quiet talking like that up in here. She pay all us our salary. Now, the head of staff over at the Russell's house are also gathered. Do I have a picture of that? I did. Okay, let me use something different. Use the same picture bag up. Okay, so the Russell's people are downstairs, also gathered. Which one of these pictures is that? Oh, is this it? Okay, so they're also gathered and talking, and their footman heard. Wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. And they are worried about the plans for the at home that Mrs. Russell is planning. Now that her lady's maid Turner, she don't like Miss Russell. That girl don't like Miss Russell. Why are you working for her if you don't like her, ma'am? So she said that I worked for old New York, and my lady, my past lady, would have never put her foot in this house. And they will take every opportunity to rally against her. Mm. The rest of the house always has to remind her to check herself. Because she ain't never gonna miss an opportunity to badmouth Mrs. Russell in particular. Girl, you so jealous. Girl, you so jealous. Ooh, wait, no, don't fall back there now, because if you fall back there, I can't get up and forget it. Okay. Now, Marion goes out to walk the dog, Pumpkin. They got a little dog, Pumpkin. And while she's walking the dog breaks off the leash and nearly runs into the street. And Larry Russell was just arriving back home, and he was able to save the dog from getting run over by the horses and carriages. Okay, Linda says, an at home means the host wishes to take the responsibility of hosting, organizing, and welcoming guests to an event. Also, it's a glorified housewarming. Okay. So anyway, Larry saves the dog from getting run over by the horses and carriages, and saves him and gives him back to her. But they seem smitten with each other right off. They was like, oh, he touched me. He put his hand on my, he touched me. Now, Bertha thinks maybe there'll be 200 people or so that will come through for the soiree, for the at home, for the glorified housewarming. Child, they could host 200 people out there in the vestibule, and wouldn't nobody be squoze up against each other neither. So now, while on a carriage ride, Agnes takes this opportunity to let Marion know that she set up a visit from an old money guy in town. So dress appropriately, aka cute, be cute. And she's inviting him to the home. And she's in child. Anyway, they done invited a Mr. Adams over to the crib. Okay. Now back at the house, let's see. Okay, so they're also talking about. She asked. Girl, I don't know what. Girl, what was you thinking to ask her of all people who Miss Chamberlain was? Who is Miss Chamberlain? And she was like, she was at the thing. Who else they have up in there? Uh, Apis and Erderus. Who would they let in there? Thieves, vagabonds. Who else was up at the place that they let Miss Chamberlain up in the joint? Y'all acting like Miss Chamberlain is the worst person in the whole world. See, this is what happened. That's the difference in your dirt getting out and your dirt staying private, right? Once it get out, it's scandal. But if you can keep it private, it's all right. So anyway, she tells her, she says, if you see her, you are to turn away. Don't you ever speak to her. Being in the presence of that woman is risking every woman in the room's reputation. Really? Okay. Y'all taking bad association sport useful habits to a whole new night, ain't you? Oh Lord. And then Marion gonna ask Agnes, are you gonna attend the party Miss Russell given? She was like, please. And not, and ain't, would never. Girl, what are you talking about? Now, Mrs. Russell is dressed to the nines. I think this is where my pictures ran out, you guys. Okay, so Mrs. Russell was dressed to the nines. I wish I could delete. Let me see if I can delete some stuff and upload while I'm talking to y'all. So Mrs. Russell is dressed to the nines, and excuse me, the old money businessman. Oh wait. Oh, okay, it's a different part. So she was dressed to the nines, and she was busy going from house to house to house, dropping off her invitations for a party, and she was so excited. She was so excited. But no one received her. Only the butlers. I'm sorry, madam, but she's not in. I'm sorry, madam, but madam is unavailable. I'm sorry, madam, but madam is previously, what is the word? Deposed, exposed? I can't think of the word right now. Y'all know what I'm saying. She's previously engaged. Just lying, because when she would leave, they would be peeking out the window right at her. And she wore such a beautiful outfit to come meet y'all in. And I know it's hot. I know it's hot having on all that stuff. Y'all ain't have to do Bertha like that. Mr. Russell has asked an old money businessman to his office because he wants to let him know that he will be expected to attend the soiree. Okay. Your presence has been requested, sir. It has been requested. And we're not taking no for an answer. Not at all. So he tried to get out of it, but he was like, no, you're gonna be there. Because you know, after we done gave you all that good money for building this big old house we just built, you'll be there. And besides that, Mr. Russell don't take too kindly to no's. He done already told y'all that. He don't do no's. He don't do them. Thank you. She was indisposed. Thank you, Linda. Now, Agnes' son, Oscar, hold on, has decided to finally make an appearance over to his mother's house. So for now, I'm just going to use this picture. He's decided to make an appearance over to his mother's. And he also gets a chance to finally meet his cousin Marion, who is now staying with his mother. And he also meets Peggy, the new secretary for Agnes. And then Mr. Adams stops by. Didn't get to upload his picture. So then Mr. Adams drops by. And Agnes was sitting over there grinning at first like she had made a match. And then when she suggested, like, maybe you two can go see some stuff. And he was like, oh, I'm sure you got a whole bunch of museums and stuff for her to go see. And Miriam looked at him like, oh, he don't like me. And girl, he don't like you, girl. Now, tonight is the night that things are abuzz in the house, and the Russell's house downstairs is just buzzing. But old hater face Turner is still down there talking smack and bad mouthing Bertha. And she says, Madam does not understand how things should be managed. She stays wait, she stays something on the lady of the house. I say she stayed sliding the lady of the house behind her back. She used to work for Mrs. Griswold. And Mrs. Griswold and Mrs. Russell would have never mixed. Never. She would have never put foot in this house. And so the footman, the butler guy is like, well, why'd you start working for her if it was all that fabulous? And she says, she just doesn't understand all the ways of old money. But my lady, my old lady, my ex lady, she did. And she was classy. Okay. And he said, well, if you love her so much, why you start working for her? She's like, but she had a heart attack and died. And she was getting dressed for a ball at Mrs. Astor's house. And he said, I know her husband must have been really upset. And she said he was, because he wanted to go to the ball. Child, yeah, old money is so classy. But that's some dirty work. He was upset because he couldn't go to the ball now that his wife had died. Child, you need to be smacked back. Mrs. Russell is dressed to impress, and she has her diamond tiara on and everything. And she's ready to receive her many guests that she's expecting and to take her rightful place in society. So as she talks to George, he speaks of her mother and how her mother would, he said, your mother would have been so proud of you. She's like, you know what, I hated for my mother because she never had anything. She passed away with nothing, but that ain't gonna be me. Mm-hmm. That ain't gonna be how I'm gonna roll out. They have given plenty to charity and to industry, and she does not intend to live the way that her mother did. Now the servants are decked out in their finest attire. I didn't get a chance to upload the picture, so I will put the picture back up of them in the dining room, because these outfits ain't got nothing on the outfits that they wore for the at home honey. They was clean. They had on red and gold. They rolled out a red carpet that went clear out to the curb. It was beautifully impressive, enough to make old money hate you some more. So Marion is peering out from her window across the street, and she longs to be at that party. And Ada, who is not as stuck on tradition as her sister, Agnes, also uses that time to explain the rift that happened between her and her dad, before, because she didn't know what had happened. So she was explaining to her, exactly what had happened with that. Your dad did us dirty, is what she, but in a nice way, she explained it. Your daddy did us dirty, girl. Left us with nothing, left us penniless, and we were young girls. And then my sister had to marry a man who was not an easy man. He was not kind, in order for us to be able to make it. So she married for money, and probably married a man that was beating her and drinking and acting a fool, but she put up with what she had to get to the bag. Because one thing Agnes was not going to do is struggle. The Russells are excited about the arrival. Bertha wanted her daughter Gladys to get on upstairs because she hasn't been presented to society yet. And her dad ends up talking her into letting Gladys, their daughter, stay. She's in her own house. And so she finally goes, all right, fine, go upstairs and change, because what she was wearing was absolutely not for this. Okay. Put on your impressive rags, honey. Marion is still peeping out the window from across the street, and she tells her aunts that she's going to go up to bed because she got a headache. But baby, she went upstairs and changed clothes and made a beeline down them back stairs, out the doors and into the streets, and went right across the street to that party. Like she was Cinderella running with that slipper, like it was 12:01. And it was a beautiful home. When she got in there, she was like, ooh, because you see something from the outside, but when you get up in it and see what it really be giving, it really be giving. Okay. Now there are only 10 people. I hate that picture to upload. There was only 10 people in that whole big old house that came for that party. But Aurora Fane, who is relative to Agnes, did decide to make an appearance. And then she makes excuses for her husband, though, as to why he wasn't able to make it. And Bertha looking at her like, so what you come for? She was like, well, I wanted to at least. And she was like, oh, you thought this what you needed to do because you was getting a check from me? She told her, she said, you ain't got to stay. See, because one thing for certain, two things for sure, right? You may get to run back and tell people it wasn't but 10 people in Bertha's big old mansion, but you also gonna have to tell them that she put you out of house. See, she wanted to give you a story to add to the story that you was about to go and tell. And so what she wanted you to do was run tell that. That's what she was saying, run tell that. She was like, and get out now. You ain't got to wait. Baby, that was cold, but I was with it. I was with it. Okay, now, the architect was he did come to the party and he was telling Bertha and her husband, he says, all the people are mad because you all are the future, and that would make them the past. And these folks have been in control since the Mayflower. Now, Marion and Agnes and Marion see each other at the door, and they both promise to not tell anyone that they saw each other over here at the Russell's home. And Agnes hurry ups and get out of there, and so did Marion, but not before apologizing to the Russells for having to leave. And then her husband had to remind Bertha, like, calm down now, because this girl did come, and her aunties didn't want her up in here, so she is here. And she's like, yeah, you're right. She's like, well, thank you for coming. And she's like, thank you so much for having me. She was like, having you to what? Because Bertha was fit to be tied. Bertha was mad. And I don't know. If you watch the episode, you see all that food and stuff she had laid out. Baby, it was food laid out from here to there to over there. I'd have been mad too. And we talking about good food, lobsters and whatnots. She didn't put no cheap stuff out. She put out the good stuff. And they didn't come. Now, Marion leaves and runs on back across the street. And when she gets home, she runs back upstairs, changes her clothes, and comes back down to talk to her aunties. Downstairs, though, at the Russell's house, the staff is looking over all this food, and they just cannot believe that the Russells got snobbed like that. I can't even, because that was nerve. But old tight-faced Turner. Now I'm gonna look for her picture every single time I talk about old tight-faced Turner. No, she looking happy there because she up in Bertha's man's face. Let me find one where her face is all tight because I need to talk about her. I need to talk about her like a scarlet dog. Hold on. Where your tight-faced picture at, girl? Where you at, girl? Hold on. These fireworks about to get on my nerves for the next couple of days. Ugh. Okay. Now I done put this picture up 9,000 times. Where you at? Oh, well, I just leave that one up because I can't find the one where her face is all tight and contorted and whatnot. But anyway, she goes to talking smack again. And she says she was just gloating that this evening was a folly. It was just a folly. And so the guy said to her again, the people downstairs was like, you need to be careful with your mouth. And she was like, failure is catchable. And I don't want it. I don't want it rubbing off on me. And Mr. Russell's butler, who saw her up in his face, said to her, are you worried about Mr. Russell's failure too? Or just Mrs. Russell? In other words, are you trying to stay away from around him being all up in his face, worried about catching the failures? Right, I ain't thinking. She just walked off then. Now upstairs, Peggy talks to Marion about her dream of being a writer, and Marion doesn't know what she wants to do or what she can be, what she'll be allowed to be, because she's part of old New York. So she's really not envious, that's the wrong word, but she wishes that she had the same choices before her that Peggy has of being able to really know what she wants to do and explore becoming good at that. Now, Mrs. Uptight Agnes Van Ryan's son, Oscar, has left for the night, and he goes to what I believe to be his own townhome. And waiting for him there was, hold on a second. He leaves and goes to his own townhome across town somewhere. And waiting for him there was Mr. Adams, the man his mother wanted Marion to get to know. but he already know Oscar real well. Real well. Okay, so Mrs. Astor's daughter comes back from something she had attended. And she's looking at her, she's like, Mother, what are you doing? She's like, just looking at some old invitations to some things that I wasn't able to attend. And she's like, oh, okay. She goes, wait a minute. This one is from the Russells, and it was tonight. And she's like, yes, I know, but whatever. And then she took the invitation and tossed it in the fire, child. Now, meanwhile, Bertha was at home crying, talking to George. And let me tell you something about mean people. When you make mean people cry, oh, baby, it's about to be on and popping. It's about to be on and popping. It's about to be on like hot butter popcorn. So she's crying, and she said that she will never give up and that she's going to make these people pay. And George said, that's good, because defeat is not your color, my dear. And I think she meant what she said. Now, just to go back past the overview of the story of these people, I'm going to play the intro one more time for those who may not have watched, to give you the overview of what this show is about. So here you go. Picture this. It's 1882 in Upper New York, where only old money and even older bloodlines reluctantly live with the nouveau riche, who, although may have more money, is not wanted in their very close and closed circle of old New York. But times are changing, and new money, in this case, the Russells, have arrived big, bold, and in color. They've got more money, a bigger, grander mansion, and a lot of power. The Russells have built their home directly across the street from Agnes Van Ryn, one of the oldest bloodlines in this part of town, and her sister Ada. She's not quite as uptight, but she's comfortable in upper society. But Agnes is not about to let these Russells run amok. But Bertha Russell will not be deterred nor denied. Her husband George is one of the wealthiest men in not just New York, but America. But be sure that Bertha will do everything she needs to ensure that her family gains their rightful seat at New York's table. And did I mention Mrs. Astor, one of the most powerful women in New York? And Mrs. Astor knows that if Bertha gets in, she's out. And she don't want that, does she? So, who will be successful? New money or old New York society? Let's see what unfolds today. In upper society on the Gilded Age. All right, y'all. So that's what it is. If you haven't watched it, that's the overview of what the show is about. Let me do a little roll call up in here. Linda's down in the comments, said good evening to everybody. And where is everyone? Well, nobody knew I was coming on. I just wanted to put this out here, leave it out here, and see how it does. That was my purpose in this. I'm just really sorry that I didn't get to upload all my pictures, but child, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because it takes a lot of pictures to be able to do this. So maybe I'll have to do like 2 pictures on one thing. If I can do that, I'll figure it out. But I'm gonna see how it goes first to see if I'm gonna keep reviewing it, because this was an undertaking to review. But I could feel like that because I had to sit down and figure out an overview and how to do an opening for it and tell the story to kind of lure people into watching it. So D. Herford says, hi, I didn't know you were doing the Gilded Age. I see you're starting from season 1. Yeah, decided I'll go on from season 1. And Linda says hello to D, and D says hello to Linda. D says Marion is a Nepo baby in real life. She's Meryl Streep's daughter. Oh, really? Not that great of an actress to me. Oh, wow. And see, I like her, so I don't know. But to have your mama be Meryl Streep, child, you talk about pressure. D. Herford, do tell. I didn't know that. Marcel says hello. Good evening, Marcel. Miss J says, your favorite Bush listener here, and glad you were able to make it over here. Good evening, Miss J. Linda says, everybody that came with you can't go where you going, in my Steve Harvey voice. Also, that was your opinion on, do you have to drop your friends just because you lose them, just because you get rich? But sometimes now people can't go. Like, really, that's the truth. Like, you want to keep people as your friends, but sometimes people can't handle where you're going, or they doing stuff that don't align with what you're doing. So sometimes you have to not cut people off, but you have to be a little bit more selective about how you're hanging and when you're hanging. Oh, Linda, buy some deep in the Gilded Age. I listen to the podcast after every episode. They tell what was fiction versus what's really happening during that period. Oh, D, I'm gonna have to start doing that because I did listen to one when I went back to review the show. I did listen to the first one from the first show, but I think I'm gonna start doing that too. Cursive is no longer taught in public school. Child, these kids don't even know how to write their name, how to sign their name. They're gonna be signing with an X. Like sometimes it just feels like I was thinking the other day, I cannot believe that we are actually facing the same thing that my mother and her mother was facing when they were young. That we are now, especially as people of color, are facing some of the very same issues, that things are just that dire. Like it's crazy. I especially love how the podcast addresses the rich black people of the Gilded Age. Okay, I gotta listen to that. Marcel says, "Good evening, Linda. Nah, you just didn't call her Haley. Now you just yes, I did call her Haley because she's very Haley-ish." D. Herfer says that made definitely Haley, especially in season 2. Girl, they were casket sharp. In the season 1 too, though she cut up, but I don't. So I can't remember when she did what she did. Oh yeah, I know what she did in season 2. Oh yeah, season 2. Woo, she was my Leslie in season 2. I could not stand her, but I was always looking to see what she was about to do. But ooh, she gets on my nerve. But I was always waiting to see what she was about to do. I need her to stay on. I love Mame. Girl, ain't Mame is good. They need to make that a stage play, a black production of it. I'd like to see it. Jealous heifers. Do us a favor and smash the like button. Tell him, George. And at home means the host wishes to take the responsibility of hosting, organizing, and welcoming guests as to an event. They are having guests. Madam is indisposed. Thank you. They will pay for this grave mistake. Oh yeah, you don't never cross Bertha and or George. Anything with a last name of Russell, baby. You don't even what's the lady name that sings? Some Brenda Russell. You don't even cross Brenda Russell. If this got a last if the last name Russell, just don't do it. Linda said, uh-oh. Well, all right, y'all. Well, that's what I came on here to do, was to just drop this thing here. I ended up making the wrong putting all my stuff into the wrong studio, which is why I had to come over here, and it still says I'm about to go live, expected to go live somewhere else. So I got to go and figure out how to delete that because I'm not going to be going live out of that studio. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys hanging in. We'll see if people are interested in this or not and see how it goes. I'm going to leave it out here to float for about a week or so and see what happens to that. I'm really looking forward to getting back on here with y'all on Monday. Child, I cannot wait to see what's going to be happening. I cannot wait. But Friday night tomorrow, we have our family fish fry Friday, our Friday family fish fry night. So we will be over here talking all things beyond the gates and showing some pictures from Linda's cruise and stuff like that. I had said if anybody wanted to send me something that they could, and but maybe if you all want to come up and tell something about yourself, you can or whatever. I might think of some fun stuff for us to do when we hang out Friday, because we still got to hang out. I can't have y'all run over that falling in love with everybody else and then forget about little old me over here. Don't you do it. I wish I could, because I know this season of Love and Marriage Huntsville is about to be a complete mess and a fool. I wish I could review it just to talk about it like a dog, but the content creating world for that show is so terrible that I don't even want to go down that road. I wish I could, because I would enjoy talking about the folks, but I'm scared to even enter it because innocent people, like one person I know that I just love her as a content creator, constantly getting attacked. They took her channel down one time. I couldn't believe they did that to her because I think Shay is one of the sweetest people ever. And so just, all that stuff come about just from reviewing this show. And it's crazy because she ain't never attacked nobody. So let me not even say too much about it now, child, for somebody to be like, what? Did somebody say my name? I mean, So, but anyway, I wish I could review it, but I can't. But if I had a membership, I would do it behind the fence, okay? D, the only reason why I want to review it is to talk about all them folks. I could kill it because I can already see from the clip that it's gonna be some junk. But what I want to do is say I told you so, and look at this entire mess, because it looked like it's a complete train wreck. Complete train wreck. And the producer, I ain't gonna say his name, ripping and running around, still trying to badmouth Melody, even though she's not even on the show no more, trying to imply like, oh, they was running around listening to the people on the internet and blah, blah, blah. But we're gonna see what this season brings, because the folks you got now is about to really bring some foolishness. And that's all I got to say about that. We over here talking about the Gilded Age, child. Let me hear. All right, y'all. I hope everybody's had themselves a great day. But look, it's 11:16 p.m. There is still some time left. Why not see what you can do to turn this day into a good one anyway? Say a prayer. Call somebody to make you laugh. Read a good book. Watch something funny on TV. Find Sanford and Son, Good Times or something, and watch that. Hold on. But there's always time, excuse me, y'all, to turn your day around. My sinuses are sinuses. There's always time to try to turn your day around. It's all about the mindset that you got, right? So try to have a good night. All right, y'all. I'm going to end the stream, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow night. Thank you all for listening, and please continue to watch the show, and we'll see how the numbers go. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's it for today. They're closing the gate, so I've got to close this door until tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye.